Hey YouTubers, I'm Aaron.
And I'm Stella.
And we're the Drawing Duo. Man, it's been a long time since we've done this, hasn't it?
Definitely.
Definitely. The last video we did was Baby Yoda. It was supposed to go up way back in May for May the 4th, but it did not. We just recently got up.
Now it's literally almost to 2021.
That's right. We're close to 2021. We took a long time, had a busy summer, crazy year, but we got it up. There's a link in the description if you want to see that one. We kind of went through teaching people how to draw Baby Yoda. Yeah. And now we're back. We're going to start making a bunch of videos and really get people interested in loving drawing. And we're going to start with going back to kind of originally we're looking at breaking down characters into their different parts. And we got some in there. We got body shapes and we got geometric versus organic. And now we're going to look at what?
Eyes.
Eyes. We're going to look at eyes. There's so many parts to eyes, and the eyes are so expressive to a character that we want to go through how... Exactly, right? Just like that. We want to go through different ways that we can draw eyes and how we can use those eyes to influence and change a character's appearance. And we're going to look at things like eye shape, eye size. We're going to look at irises. We're going to look at glints in the eyes. Eyelashes.
Some certain people will have different types. Some people want to do these almond-shaped eyes. Some people want to do the really cartoony circle eyes. Like I have this one circle eye with just a bit of glimmer in the eye, like a few polka dots everywhere of white. It's probably one of my favorites.
Yep. So we're going to take a look at those different options and figure out how we can use them to kind of create expression in our character and originality in our characters. Should we get started?
Yes!
Let's do it. We're going to start with the simplest form. The simplest form is just two little dots, circles, donuts per se. They could have a white glint in them. You could color them all in if you wanted.
You could even go like...
Put a nose in that. You've seen this in like Calvin and Hobbes. You've seen this in Helga when she's far away. You've seen this in the Peanuts characters.
Look at that big nose.
Yep, big nose. You can also do more complicated eyes, so like they can have different shapes. So let's talk about like dipper pines. Dipper pines is like one circle, and then you put kind of an overlapping circle if he's looking in one direction. It's the same shape. They're circles, not ovals.
Or you can make eyes like these.
Yeah, you can make eyes like that. So you put the kind of small beady eyes, the dark eyes inside the big circles. The beauty of this is it allows the eyes to kind of look around. So, you know, right now he's looking this way. If you create the same set of eyes over here, okay, in the same setup, he could be looking up and to the right, like he's looking at something above him, and to his left, our right. Irises are very important, so you can do eyes that are like big ovals, like this. We saw this, we'll see this when we do the Star versus the Forces of Evil. She has big oval eyes. And those are kind of the whites of the eyes. We're going to draw inside there. We're going to draw the pupils. So there can be pupils inside there. You could even put in, like, you could erase the bottom of these. If you want the character to be, like, really cute, you could put in these kind of cheeks. So it kind of shows her cheeks. And you put the nose down here with the cheeks.
Cheeks.
You can also do, like, one of the ways they treated the pupils was back in the 20s, 30s, and 40s. They'd do the pupils with these ovals. Okay, but then they would do this kind of squished Pac-Man. And it would create these kind of glints in the eyes. And this is not used as much anymore. This was a very Disney-specific style. But it created these kind of Pac-Man looking pupils. And a lot of times they were put inside the whites of the eyes. So you'd have these kind of whites that would go over the character. And you'd have put the nose there, but you'd have these kind of whites there. So that was kind of the old school Disney look. You can also not totally complete the eyes. So like this is something that's used more in anime and stuff, but you have kind of the top arcs. Arcs are part of a circle. And then maybe you have like These bottom arcs too, they might not perfectly line up, and then inside you have these big pupils that move around within those areas. And you could so you don't necessarily have to draw the whole whites of the eyes. Sometimes it's just a matter of creating references. You can also move to realistic eyes. So realistic eyes are more of kind of an almond shape. Generally, they're kind of a circle on the front end, and then they create kind of these almonds. And the pupils will sit kind of in the center of the eyes, depending on which way they're looking. So this is kind of the more realistic eye. But as we're building characters, the realistic eyes aren't necessarily what we're shooting for. We're generally looking for exaggerated eyes.
He's a cat.
He's a cat, yep.
Go do those eyes.
We're going to take a look at pupils with glints in them. So here's a pupil. And these are like big cartoon pupils. We're just going to draw ovals. And then inside the ovals, we're going to draw these bigger circles. And these, so we'll do kind of bigger circles here. We'll do smaller circles. And anywhere the circle is not, we fill in with black to kind of fill in the pupil. And these are what I call kind of glints or light glints. And these are really important to a lot of cartoon characters, especially when they're sad.
I made those eyes too.
Did you? Right there, yeah. So we have these sad eyes here where they have these big glints in them. They're like, oh, look at me, I'm giant puppy dog eyes.
Dog eyes.
And so we fill those in with black. And then eyes, like when you get more complicated, you start to see eyes as being three parts. So you have the whites. So let's just draw an eye, a big oval that's kind of represents the whites of the eyes. Okay, and then we're going to draw a second oval inside there, and this is going to be considered the iris. And the iris is the part of the eye that's colored. Okay, and then almost as big, but not quite, we're going to do the pupils. Pupils is where the light goes in. And you get the pupils there. And a lot of times, like when you get more detailed, you can color the pupils, or you can put these kind of like lines in the pupils, because the pupils tend to have these kind of lines in them. And the thing that's important about that is when you're animating characters, these eyes will move around. Kind of like what we showed here, is that if you create eyes with more parts, they'll move around and they can kind of represent where the character is looking. And so here we have the three parts. We have the whites, we have the irises, which is the colored part, and then we have the pupil, which is the black part. And we can also do, like, you know, if we wanted to erase this, we could erase parts here. And we could kind of create a circle out here. And we could create glints that kind of overlap the pupils and the irises, so you get glints in the eyes. Now with the pupils and glints, like depending on the character, so we'll see this, like if you look into the character that's Star versus the Forces of Evil, she may have a time where she's very happy about something, and the glints in her eyes become hearts. So they'll put these glints in her eyes. They're like, I'm a heart and I'm in love and this is amazing. And so what they'll do is the white in the eyes will become these like hearts, and everything around that will end up becoming, yeah, like that. And everything around that will become black, you know, and it's hard to show that because we're not like getting super into detail, but
we've gone through a lot of eyes. Can I show one?
Yeah, why don't you show one?
One of my favorites is I'll do these circles, and then I'll have these little smaller circles inside of them to kind of show that it's like, then you color all this in with black, and it looks like these really adorable eyes, kind of like that.
Yeah, those are those glints, right? The glints show the kind of like light off our eyes. One of the things with eyes we want to talk about real quick is we also want to talk about eyebrows. So let's make a set of eyes, just circles. however, or whatever shape you want, if you want to do ovals. And one of the things to keep in mind too is if you could do eyes like this too, where it's like, they're not circles, they're more ovals. You could do stuff like that. So let's just do a set of eyes here. Okay, and we're just gonna we'll just put pupils in to make it simple. We're not gonna do irises. And then you can do eyebrows. So sometimes they're just arc like that if they're more of a cartoon character. If they're a fanciful cartoon character, maybe the eyebrows have different forms and you get these kind of furrier eyebrows. Okay, maybe if you have this character that's got like this big nose, okay, and it's like an old like war guy and he's got these kind of, or this older dude, maybe walrus type, he's got these big mustache, and you give him these eyes.
Oh no.
Okay. Maybe his eyebrows are not simple, but they're big, hairy eyebrows. And they have these big arcs to them, but they have this big hair to them. So you get this what happens is if you compare that to the same thing, so you draw kind of similar nose, okay, and you draw similar eyes.
Look at this.
Yep. Yeah, one big eye. Just like that. So you draw these big eyes and you do kind of the same thing here. Let's do the kind of same thing to show you how it changes. Okay. And let's say the mustache now is a thin mustache. Okay, a pencil mustache. It's not a big thick mustache. Would you put big hairy eyebrows? No, you'd put kind of these pencil thin eyebrows. And you see how different the face changes just even depending on the eyebrows. And then if you have kind of like, if you're drawing like a Disney princess and you have more of this feminine oval eye that's like beautiful and you have big pupils inside there and you have these beautiful almond eyes, another way to express that's more of a female character, and you kind of shade those in, is eyelashes, right? And those are terrible eyelashes. I just totally screwed that up.
Nah, not really.
But if you do these kind of arcs, there's definitely ways to do eyelashes. And eyelashes kind of indicate a more feminine approach to the character. So if you're doing a Disney princess, and Disney princesses, maybe this Disney princess has irises, but it has huge pupils, and then it still has big glints. Okay, we're looking at all the different elements here. Okay, and the pupils have this kind of look like that. You have these beautiful eyelashes that go with it, and then maybe you put an eyebrow over it. So eyebrows and eyelashes are a very important part of the way the eye is created. And the interesting thing too is if you create a set of eyes, the thing that's important about eyebrows and eyelashes is that you, by the way you change the eyebrows, you can actually change the expression. And we'll look at more expressions once we start getting more on mouths, because mouths really help with the expressions. But
look at that.
Yeah, exactly. So we'll look at more expressions when we get in there, but like as you change the position of the eyebrows, you end up kind of changing how that character is perceived in the expression they're showing, because in these illustrations you don't want the character to be a robot. So the combination of eyebrows and eyes, and then we'll talk about mouths once you get mouths in there, because like you could do this mouth here, I could just do a smile and it looks one way, okay, but if I take that smile away and I change that to a unhappy kind of open mouth, all of a sudden the whole character changes.
But the eyes can change a lot. Like if you did a smile, but your eyes look kind of sad, it would look a little bit more like you're sad than if you were happy.
Absolutely. So we have all these different parts. Here we have cheekbones that are interfering with or are kind of interacting with the way the eyes work. We can use irises, and at some point when we get down the road and we talk about coloring, Irises are very important. So here you have irises and the pupil. Irises are very important to how things are colored. Makes for a more complex character. We have glints that can be representative of like a sad character or a super like happy character. We can change the glints to hearts to show kind of a love thing. We can use eyelashes to represent kind of a female character, like a Disney princess type. We can use eyebrows to change how a character look and perceive and what the character becomes by how we change that stuff. So throughout the eyes, we have a ton of ways and flexibility. Yep, just like that too. That was another one, is you can do like they used to do these old-fashioned eyes. I've seen this a little bit, but you can do these kind of weird depths to them, where you have a depth to the eye and then it's like just dark inside. So it's kind of like kind of expressive, this like soulless, like kind of deep eye. And that's another way to do it. They, a lot of times I have like a big pointy nose. So in all these aspects, we can use that to really add a lot of flavor to our character. And you see the difference between simple eyes to just round eyes like Dipper Pines. And then as you change the eyes, you start to get characters that are your own unique style. Yep, and that's another good point, is that eyes can also be, so if you have a big oval eye like that, you could also have eyelids, which makes a character look, so instead of like doing the full thing here, you could just reference that the eye is kind of here and here, but the eyelid is closed, and you kind of put the pupil here, and what you get is you get a sleepy, droopy kind of character that may be tired or uninterested, and it totally changes the vibe of the character because you changed the way the eye was drawn. So here is like a kind of a close-eyed character. So that is eyes. Eyes is something that's very expressive to a character. Depending on how you draw them, totally changes the way the character looks. And as you learn to build different types of eyes, you learn to customize your character and build the character the way you want. Well, that was fun, wasn't it?
Definitely.
That was eyes. We looked at different aspects of eyes. We looked at the size of them, from tiny little black dots all the way into like complex shapes.
Huge
We took a
ones.
look at the different parts of the eyes. So we have kind of the whites of the eyes, the kind of full size of the eyes, but then we have things like pupils. We have glints inside the pupils. We have eyebrows, eyelashes. Next, we're going to work on doing drawing of the character from Elf, the Christmas movie, because it's almost Christmas time. We're going to take a look at drawing Elf in kind of a cartoon form. It's one of our favorite movies. We watch it every Christmas, and such a funny movie. So that will be the next video, and we hope to see you next time.